Hello everybody, welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. Yeah, we're back at the table saw here because it was brought to my attention in the comments section of the video that I forgot to mention one thing, and that is where or what is the location of where to drill the hole on your table saw to be the proper place for cutting the circle or the arch on the table saw. So I'm going to go over that right now, and then I've got one other tip that I forgot to put in the other video, so I'll also show you that in a second. All right, so where do you drill the hole on the table saw? Very simply, raise your blade up until it's just past the thickness of the piece of wood you're going to use. As you can see, that is just coming out through the top. Okay, so then you want to take a measurement from the edge of the blade to the edge of the blade, and the center of that is where you're going to come off. And you could put a square against there, or your piece of wood even, whatever, and then you can mark out from there and put your mark for where you got to drill your hole. Now you notice that they're not all in the same location. One is further than the other. That's because the higher the blade goes up, the difference of the center of the blade changes. So when I was cutting these, I was cutting very thick lumber, and that meant the blade came up higher, so the center was moved back a little ways. But at a low point like this, there's the center right there. And as you can see, if I put this in the center of the blade, that's where I drilled the hole. So that was the one that I cut yesterday, or whenever I did it. All right, the other little tip is, sometimes there's a need, let me get that adjusted. Sometimes there's a need to mark a board for cutting or planing or shaping or whatever. So let's say you wanted to take a 1/4 inch off of this. You wanted a line all the way down because you're going to be using a hand plane or something like that, and you want to follow the line. All right, well, a carpenter's trick is to hold a pencil like this loosely in your hand, and then you can place your fingers against the side of the lumber, tilt your hand up as necessary, and move the pencil out as necessary for whatever thickness you want. Okay, so let's say we're going to take a 1/4 inch. So here's my 1/4 inch mark right there after I measure it with my tape measure. So I just hold my finger against it like that, and I slide back and forth until I go all the way the length of the board, and I've got my mark. Okay, now, one thing about doing that, of course, I wasn't worried here because this is the one that I ran through the makeshift jointer the other day, and it's got a fairly smooth surface on it. But if it's a rough surface, there's a good possibility you'll get a splinter in your finger while you're doing that. And who likes splinters? Not me. So here's a little tip on what to do. Take yourself a piece of blue masking tape, tape the edge of the board first, and then you can put your fingers on the tape, and you can draw your line down the board without worrying about getting a splinter in your finger. All right, that covers today's tip. And the stop part I left out the other day in the other video. So we've got that all squared away. So I got my lights on in here because it was a little dim in here, but it's nice and shiny bright outside with clear blue skies and beautiful day in the 80s, and calm as can be. So problem is, I wasted most of my day going into town and getting stuff I needed to do pickling, because I got to get my cucumbers pickled and get those things ready for the winter time. And I still got them growing on the vine yet, so I'll still have more cucumbers to go, but I do have a bunch that has to get pickled, otherwise they're going to go to waste, and I don't like waste. All right, so we're going to move on down the line. And what I want to do today is I'm going to give a shout out to somebody who's been a very dedicated follower to my channel, and I've also been checking his channel out. I've subscribed to him a long time ago, and His channel name is HEATSEEKER Bus. HEATSEEKER BUS. And his name is Pierre. What he did, he lives up in Ontario, Canada. What he did was he bought an old school bus, and boy, was it a mess. I mean, there was body rot all over it. Of course, they get the snow and the salted roads and things like that. And it was full of body rot and problems that I'm amazed at the beautiful job he did converting that thing over and what he had to go through to get it converted over and turn it into an RV. Well, Pierre says that he's never, ever traveled in his life. He's never seen an ocean. He's never seen a palm tree. He's never seen a desert. So he's a middle-aged man now, and he's got his HEATSEEKER bus put together, and he's going to take a few months off and travel the United States. And he's going to travel through a lot of the states on the west side of the Mississippi and check things out. He's going to meet people along the way and lend a helping hand wherever he can. And I told him he's welcome to stop by here if he'd like on his way, and we'll get to know each other, shake some hands, and I'll give him a place to stay for a few days while he's en route to his next place. And what I'm asking is, for any of you others that are out there, you can go to his channel, HEATSEEKER Bus, on YouTube, and look him up, watch his video. It's pretty long. He put all of his videos together for a whole year and called it Phase 1 of the HEATSEEKER Bus. And he shows you all the different things that he did from 2018 to 2019 to get this thing put together. It's pretty cool. And you can go to his channel and leave a comment, and if you're going to be in one of the western states, give him a shout and say, hey, if you happen by such and such a city in such and such a state, you're welcome to stay here. And let's show Pierre that, hey, we could be friendly people. He's willing to help out around your homestead if necessary, and he'll help you with some of the laborious chores that you have and things like that, or any of the projects you have. He told me he's looking forward to coming here and helping me with some of my projects. Well, he might change his mind after he gets here, and I'm a slave driver. Just kidding, Pierre. Hey, everybody, let's give a warm welcome to Pierre, and you can subscribe to his channel. He'll be doing the trip by himself, and I understand he's going to go down to Texas. He's also going to try to do the rubber tramp thing there in the desert, and go out with the snowbirds and those guys out there in the desert and check them out and try to join a nomad team with some of the other people with buses, just in case he has a problem. Other people can help him out with that have been there and done that. All right, so that's about all I really have for today. I just wanted to cover all that stuff. I've been down to the garden house already, and I got pick some stuff that's going to come out of there, because I got lots of jalapenos, so I'm going to pickle some of the jalapenos too. So I'll have those when the season dries up. And nothing like a good old pickled jalapeno with some of your Mexican food dinners. And yeah, as the days get shorter and the weather gets a little rougher, I will be doing some of my cooking on video. I'll show you some of my recipes. And the barbecues kind of don't get a lot of work in the winter time, because of course it's too cold outside and the sun sets too early. And when the sun's down at 4:30 in the afternoon and you're not going to eat until 6:30, that's 2 hours in the dark. Well, I don't want to do that. All right. So anyway, since I changed back to my original controllers, you can see that I have no problem with power during the day. And I was out there running my welder today, and even since I separated the Harbor Freight panels out, I put those up there. They're only 1/10 of a volt off from the other controllers here, but that was the problem. The Harbor Freight controllers apparently have the blocking diodes in the controller, not in the panels. So Remember that, people, if you're going to put your panels on, your Harbor Freight panels, and you're going to thinking about cutting the wires and connecting those straight into your other unit, you'll have to put a blocking diode on them. I do have blocking diodes, but they use this little lamp cord, 2-wire lamp cord on these things, and the blocking diodes are designed for the heavier 10 gauge wire for solar panels, not really for these types of panels. So it's just as easy if I just run them through their own controller. And since the controller is like a 20 amp controller, there's only like 5 amps or 6 amps coming out of this set. So I have no problem hooking 2 sets to one controller if I have to. And they do sell a box at Harbor Freight where you can plug in 5 sets of panels and then run them through one controller. But just remember that blocking diode problem, because it'll suck your batteries down overnight. And since I fixed that problem, even with running the TV and a bunch of other stuff and lights and stuff through the night, no problem, but dropping below, I've seen it down to 12.4, but that's a lot better than 11.7. I didn't like that 11.7. All right, that's all, everybody. Please give me a thumbs up down there. Don't forget to visit Pierre over at HEATSEEKER Bus and tell him Bear sent you, and see what we can do for that guy. And I told him when he's here, I have no problem with him videoing and doing some of his own videos here at my site, but he's got some rules to follow. And I already went over those with him. He agreed, so no big deal. Security reasons, of course. All right, everybody, G Bear signing off.